So, guess who just recorded a video about Bradley Beal to then go on to Twitter as the video is exporting to see that Shams has tweeted that there are now two frontrunners in the Bradley Beal trade, those teams being Phoenix as well as Miami. Now, Miami makes a ton of sense to me. Phoenix doesn't make a lick of sense to me. So let's break this down one by one. I also want to say I opened that video going, Washington's doing right by Bradley Beal. You know, they're just trying to, because they allowed him to interview with teams that he wanted to potentially be traded to. And then I remembered after the video, oh wait, Bradley Beal has a trade clause. No trade clause, that is. So, that is a significant part of this. Bradley Beal gets to decide where he wants to go, and kind of just up to him. I mean, both of these teams can make a good offer for him, but if he doesn't like where he's going or doesn't like what they're giving up, then he doesn't have to do it. Hello everybody, welcome to Austin Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already and drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference in how the video performs in the YouTube algorithm. Phoenix doesn't make any sense. Not even a little bit. It is stupid. I understand you can make the argument like if you're trading DeAndre Ayton, Bradley Beal is probably the most bang for your buck that you can absolutely get as a basketball player. And that is 100% true. Bradley Beal is definitely the best player you're getting back for DeAndre Ayton. However, they don't need shot creation, man. They just don't need it at all. It doesn't make any sense that they would be interested in this player other than them just being morons who are making decisions purely off of names. I literally just recorded a main channel video where my takeaway from the Phoenix versus Denver series was names are cool, but you need a well-rounded roster. You need a team to win a championship. And in the case of that Nuggets series, it was Kevin Durant and Devin Booker taking turns being amazing shot creators. And they had plenty of that, but in terms of guys who can just, be play finishers, catch and shoot guys, DeAndre Ayton, you would hope to be a pick and roll guy, but of course wasn't. Playmaking, defense, entirely lacking in every single category to some degree or another besides for shot creation. They had a surplus. They had enough. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker is more shot creation than 99% of NBA teams will ever fucking have. And they want to trade for Bradley Beal. What make it make sense? It doesn't. Not to mention, Bradley Beal makes $60 million a year, like somewhere in that ballpark. I know it's over 50. You're going to pay $50. You're going to pay $50 million for the exact opposite of what you need. Are you fucking stupid? Like, I was genuinely entirely perplexed by the fact that Phoenix was even a factor in this, because when I recorded this video initially, like, the report that came out was that the Wizards were letting Bradley Beal interview with the Miami Heat as well as the Milwaukee Bucks. So you gotta presume that he has some interest in Phoenix if this is the discussion that's being had. But like, good God, don't do this. It would be a perfect way to make sure that Phoenix does not win a championship. It's all but a guarantee. It makes the Kevin Durant trade exponentially worse, because if you have Kevin Durant, you have Devin Booker, and you have Bradley Beal all on the same team, all making between $40 to $60 million a piece, you'll only have room for minimum guys. You only have room for like maybe one other good player on that entire fucking team. And there's no defense there either. Like, Devin Booker's been a pretty good defender. Kevin Durant's been pretty good. Bradley Beal could maybe be okay, but like, you're talking about your three best players being okay to a little bit better than okay defensively. That's not going to get it done. And you're not going to, there will be games, sure, where they can outscore opponents, but you're just not going to win banking all of your ability on a purely outscoring team. Like, even with Denver, that's what I was worried about with them this postseason, was I knew they could outscore teams. I knew they could put up 120 points and it not even look like it was a significant thing whatsoever, especially because it's, not that big of a deal in the modern NBA. But they also had defensive concerns going into this postseason. I was like, I don't care how damn good your offense is. If you're a non-factor defensively, or if you're even just mediocre defensively, you're not a fucking contender. Like, more likely than not. But when it came to the postseason, of course, Denver turned it around and locked up defensively for that entire postseason. This is stupid. It is endlessly stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Apparently, Isaiah Thomas, like Pistons Isaiah Thomas, is making decisions for that front office. That's what I've heard. that makes a lot of sense given how much this doesn't make any sense, because he's one of the worst coaches and GMs in the history of this fucking sport. So I don't even know why I care so much. I think it's just so stupendously dumb and obviously dumb that I feel impassioned about it, I guess. But no, this would be a detrimental decision by the Phoenix Suns. They would be better off running it back. 100% they'd be better off running it back. Just do exactly the same roster next year. It will probably be better than this team with Bradley Beal. And this isn't me knocking Bradley Beal. I'm saying Bradley Beal is a very good player, but what his skill set is, what he brings to the table, is stuff that they have an abundance of. And taking all the space that he would in the cap, it just makes no sense. So on the other side of the spectrum here, Miami makes a ton of sense. Miami could not make more sense for Bradley Beal, and especially for both sides of this exchange, because for Washington, like, I'd rather have Tyler Hero than DeAndre Ayton, at least in terms of like a future star level player. So if you're gonna have someone like DeAndre Ayton, you kind of need to have a player by proxy who can be a playmaker for that guy. And if you just let it be like DeAndre Ayton and a bunch of scrubs, that's going to be a worse experience for DeAndre Ayton than Tyler Hero and a bunch of scrubs would be for Tyler Hero. And of course, Tyler Hero would be the centerpiece of this move for the Miami Heat more likely than not. There is definitely a possibility that you could do like Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and some draft capital, but I think it's all but a guarantee that it would be Tyler Hero. So for the Wizards, better asset, I would say, better future star potential there. I don't think super highly of Tyler Hero or DeAndre Ayton, but I do think Tyler Hero is more suited for the environment of, yeah, this team's going to suck for like 2-3 years and I'm just going to take 20 shots a game. Not to mention, I think it would be more entertaining basketball, which obviously Washington cares about selling tickets. So yeah, not to mention with Miami, unlike Phoenix, the number one thing they're lacking in is shot creation. I discussed this over on my main channel, talking about what we took away for the 2023 playoffs. You can go check that out if you have not already. The video is like way better than I expected it to be honest. It just flowed really well. But that aside, Miami, what ended up being their problem in this postseason is how they got to the finals was defense. They absolutely interrupted what Milwaukee was trying to do. They interrupted what Boston was trying to do. And, you know, it's not that hard to stop a Julius Randle-led offense, even if Jalen Brunson did absolutely torch them. In fact, I think Jalen Brunson probably had a better series than anyone versus Miami, other than, of course, Nikola Jokic. So it was a defensive thing. Miami was not scoring a super high amount of points, generally speaking. Obviously, Jimmy Butler had a freaking 56-point game at one point, but it was a matter of defense for Miami. That was what got them their success. And then they went to the conference finals and they tried to be a defensive-oriented team once more, and Denver did not even flinch at anything that Miami tried to do. So given that, shot creation was the ultimate problem, especially being that Jimmy Butler was not like MJ's secret stuff Jimmy Butler from earlier on in the playoffs. He was not good, and he was super easy to defend one-on-one, and the only way that Miami was generating offense was people doubling Jimmy Butler and kicking it out to the perimeter. And once Denver committed to just running them off of the three-point line and defending Jimmy Butler one-on-one, Miami's offense was absolutely fucked. The only way that they even got a game on Denver was because they had a fourth quarter where they missed like 2 shots. So it took some crazy outlier shooting for them to even win a game. And at a certain point, there was just no hope that Miami could score the ball. So getting a guy who at one point led the league in scoring, it makes all the sense in the world. I think defensively, Bradley Beal will probably be a lot better in this environment. That's why I said it'd be okay in Phoenix too, just because in the past, Bradley Beal has been a, if not positive defender, at the very least a neutral one back when the Wizards were a good playoff team when they had John Wall. So it's definitely well within the realm of possibility that he would choose to, you know, put more effort in on the defensive end of the floor, especially in Miami's culture that encourages that quite significantly. It makes sense. Frankly, I would be shocked if he went to Phoenix over Miami, especially given his no trade clause. I would hope that he is aware of the circumstances of Miami being way better for him than the circumstances of Phoenix, especially if he still cares about getting his own shots. He's going to get a lot more shots in Miami Miami than he would Phoenix. In fact, for Miami, at least in the regular season, he'd probably be their #1 shot creator. Like, maybe playoff time, Jimmy Butler goes God mode again, and like, sure, God mode Jimmy Butler is better than regular Bradley Beal at scoring the ball, but regular Bradley Beal is better at scoring the ball than regular Jimmy Butler. So given that, regular season, Bradley Beal would probably be leading the team with shot attempts, and postseason, he would probably be the solution to a lot of their problems. Yeah, it's just, it only makes sense for Miami and only doesn't make sense for Phoenix. So in terms of where I think Bradley Beal is going to end up next year, well, shocker of all shocks, it's going to be in Miami. But don't get me wrong, if Phoenix trades for Bradley Beal, you will get a long main channel video about why that is fucking stupid. But yeah, shout out to Rudy for editing this video, and goodbye.